Welcome everybody again. We have Lætitia today, and she's my colleague. She's a wonderful human being, an inspiration and role model for me. And I'm happy that she'll be here today and she'll share her expertise in public speaking. And she's a seasoned speaker and gets always crowds in her talks and conferences. So, and in general, Kadın Yazılımcı, we are active for 10 years now. It will be in December, 10 years. And we started as a small group and definitely not for profit, just to inspire other women, just share our common problems and make this place better for all of us. And we had several, like we have so many conferences, meetups we made. And the last is in the August, we had Diva Dive into AI conference. It was all about AI. And now after that finished, we decided we should have a mentorship program that will make, that will bring more women to the stage, like Lætitia, to give technical speeches. And so that we can share our experiences as part of this program. Lætitia is with us today to share her own experiences, and eventually that we are working on a program to invite people to join and go step by step over 2 to 3 months program to go through all the steps how to prepare a talk. So if you are interested in it, feel free to follow us, and you will eventually, like next year, possibly February, that's the estimated timeline we see. We will start the program and invite mentees for this mentorship program, which will be also free, of course. And yeah, and today I will just give the stage to Lætitia to describe and tell us about herself so that we can start. Thank you for coming, and I hope you will have a very good hour ahead.
Yeah, well, no problem. I always say that each time people ask me to speak, I'm such a chatting box that I say yes. So it's not a problem. Before exploring public speaking, I'd like to say a little word about myself. So of course, I messed up and this is not the right slides. Let me change that.
Problem. Gives a little bit more time for everybody who's
yeah, because
joining.
each time I will explain, but each time I do 2 slide decks and this is not the right one. And
maybe
I know
this
why.
another tip we have.
Yeah, I will explain
expertise.
everything. That's the reason why I do 2 slide decks. It's not because I love working twice. It's I think it really helps delivering good talks to have 2 slide decks. We'll talk about that. This is the right one. So I need my speaker notes. Here I am. I need that one. Here on the right screen, of course. Then I need that. And I can share it back. Why Zoom? Can you see the screen or not?
Yes, we can.
So you can see the slide?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So now I need to take back my notes and I'm fine. Okay, so first, as I said, I have 2 slide decks. The one I present, which are very clean, I call it clean because there is basically only images and no text on it. Why? Because I noticed that when there were words on my slides, people tend to read them instead of listening to me. I'm a mom. It's infuriating that people don't listen to me. So I decided that the best way to make them listen to me and stop reading was to remove the words. But I know that for some people with ADHD or hearing problem, or even because I'm not a native English speaker and my accent can be a problem, sometimes it's better for some people to have some words. So if you need some words, or even if you're just curious, you can get this slide deck, the one with words, on the URL here on that slide, and you can use a QR code to access it directly. So this is how I do it. Yes, it asks me to do a little extra work because I first do the one with words, the slide deck with words, and then I remove all the words, put them in as a speaker note, and publish and use the version without words. I think it's worth it because I've seen that people are really listening more carefully when there is no words on my slides. And also, I love having great image background, and sometimes there are jokes in it, and I love it, even if I'm the only one laughing. So if you have too many words on your slides, you can't see the background image as good as if it's only your slide title. So that's why I do only slide title. I know that some people even remove the title. I think it's still good to have the title just to explain where you're going, what you're talking about, because I have ADHD myself. I know that from time to time you need things to focus, or your brain did a little travel to the moon and you need to get back to Earth, and having the title can help with that. So, who I am. So my name is Lætitia Avrot. This is obviously a French name. I'm pretty sure my parents gave me that name on purpose so that no one that is not French can say it correctly, but it's okay. The meaning of Lætitia is joy, but it's really unrestrained joy. So if you'd rather call me Joy, I will be happy with that. I'm involved in the Postgres community. I'm the PostgreSQL Europe Treasurer, meaning that I'm taking care of all invoicing, accounting, and so on for all the events we do in Europe. At the moment, we are doing PostgreSQL Europe Conf that will be held in Prague in December. We also do the FOSDEM PG Day in Brussels, PG Day Paris in Paris, Nordic PG Day in the Nordic countries, PG Day Mediterranean in the Mediterranean countries, pgconf.de in Germany, and that's all, which is already, oh no, I forgot London PG Day in London. So it's not boring. A lot of stuff I had no idea existed. Lot of VAT troubles and taxes troubles and so on. It's fun. I'm also the founder of Postgres Women. So as your group, the deal with Postgres Women is first to help women attending events, because if you don't know people, you don't enter the community, it's harder to ask technical questions to people you don't know. Whereas I know that these people are really, really happy to help, but if you don't know them, you won't address them directly to ask questions. So the first step is to make women come into the event, and the second evil step is to put them on stage, because that's really good for your career to speak on stage. I doubled my salary since I began speaking, and I'm really near to have tripled my salary. That's really important because salary is the only thing a company can give you. A company has no emotion. Your boss can tell you they are happy with your work, but the only way they can show it is how they will pay you. And you need to expect the same salary as a man, even though we know statistically you won't get it, you should get it. So that's the second thing I do. And I'm also a recognized PostgreSQL contributor. I did some small documentation and contribution to the PostgreSQL project. And I've been recognized a PostgreSQL contributor since March 2021. At the moment, I'm a Field CTO for EDB. And sometimes people don't know what Field CTO means. Field CTO means that I'm doing all the fun part of the CTO job, meaning I'm doing all the tech part of the CTO job, but all the reporting, dashboard, and so on part of the job, it's not mine, it's my boss. So I think that's the coolest job in the world. You can find me on Twitter. My handle is L_Avrot. I'm also visible on Fastodon and on Blue Sky and on LinkedIn. Luckily for you, Avrot, A-V-R-O-T, is a very, very uncommon name. And I'm the only Lætitia Avrot on Earth. I'm also, I try to write in a blog where the point of my blog was to put things that I will remember later or that I won't remember later so that I can find it again easily. I began answering questions. People sent me questions by email and I answer those questions on my blog because I think that if someone has a question, the probability others have the same is very, very high. And I'm also responsible for this small website. It's called PSQL Tips. And the idea is very simple. Everyone uses a GUI tool to query Postgres, but the only official client for Postgres is PSQL, and it's a command line tool. And you can be so efficient with a command line tool that you should try to get it. And also, I know it's more difficult to learn on a command line tool than a GUI tool, but sometimes when you're in production, it's 3 a.m. and you don't have access to your GUI tool, it's good to have learned beforehand because you know that production always fails at 3 a.m. It never happens at 10 a.m. We know that. So raise your hand if you're not afraid of public speaking. Yeah, I knew. No one, everyone is afraid of public speaking. Well, not everyone. I'd say that some people with very, very big egos might not be afraid of public speaking, but obviously it's a very small portion of the population. And I thought that another portion of the population who might not be afraid, psychopaths, because they feel no emotion. But I guess it's, again, a very, very small portion of the population. So everyone is afraid. I've seen seasoned speakers with more than 20 years of stage experience being very, very afraid before going on stage. And that's normal. Actually, I would even say that if you're afraid to be on stage, it's a good thing. It means you mean well. So it's okay to be afraid. And I say that I know fear very well because might be the people with the most fear, the highest number of fears you can find on this planet. I'm afraid of everything. So that I have to deal with that every day. So going on stage, it's just another fear that I have to take care of. So fear. I will begin with that. I don't know if you know about Amelia Earhart. She was a great pilot, plane pilot, and actually she died while flying over the Pacific. She was trying to fly over the Pacific with her plane before World War II. She said, use your fear. It can take you to the place where you store your courage. And that's exactly that. We all have fear. It's normal. That's part of us being animals because that's part of us being humans. It's normal and it's not a problem to be afraid. The difference between being a coward and being brave is not having no fears, actually. The difference is being afraid, but still doing it. That's what courage is about. And I'm pretty sure you are very brave because first, you're there already. So you kind of want to go against that sphere. And second, because you're women. And as women, we have many fears that men can't see, like, should I go out there in the street at 2 a.m.? Is it safe to go running in that unknown city by myself? And such fears, but normally you face them because you can't live, you have to live actually. And being just trying to avoid all your fear is the opposite of living. So just some things about fear. The first thing I can tell you is the audience is with you. The audience wants you to succeed. They really, really wish that you will succeed. They want to hear what you have to say. They don't want you to fail. So that's a very, very important thing. It's very easy to have the audience with you because they are almost already with you. You just make one joke and everyone is with you and you can go wherever you want with them. You can lead them wherever you want. Also, if you're afraid to, if you're afraid that you might have some wrong questions or bad questions or things you don't want to hear, it's okay to say, I'm sorry, I won't take questions. It's totally okay. No one can force you to answer questions. Also, if you find that one question is not appropriate, say it, because the audience is with you and they will find the same way. They will feel the same way. I had a problem once when I was in my own town in Lyon, in France. I delivered a talk about the SQL language. And so I explained that SQL was too incomplete because it is. And at the end, one guy just raised his hand saying that he had more a comment than a question thing. We know how it is. And he said that I said SQL was too incomplete and that it was not. And I simply said, no, you're wrong. It's too incomplete. Next question, please. And after that, several women came to me saying that they were so happy that I had that kind of attitude, saying, no, that's not a question. Go to the next, you're irrelevant. And what's what's more infuriating is the guy went after me after the talk and told me that if I disagree with him, I didn't have to be hysterical, and he used that very term. So I reported him to the code of conduct because that's not appropriate. Also, if you don't know something, that's okay. No one knows everything. The best experts I've seen are the ones who are very humble with their knowledge. So it's okay to say, oh, that's a very interesting question, but I don't have the answer. Can you come at the end, give me your email address, and I will search your answer and answer back to you? That's something you can do. You can delay the answer, or you can simply say, I don't know, but I will look it up, and no one will be against you for that. No one knows everything. So just feel free. You're giving your point of view. Maybe you're talking about your experience or so on. It's okay if you don't know things. It's okay if you don't want to answer questions. And it's okay also to use your mom voice, even though you're not a mom. But remember, you are the one with a microphone. So if you're interrupted by some guy, yeah, I will assume it's a guy, and they are interrupted you and trying to derail your talk, you have the microphone. And also you have the organizers with you in the room, and the organizer will take care of that guy and put him outside. Because if you didn't say at the beginning of the talk, it's okay to interrupt me, to ask questions and so on, then it's not okay to do it. So no one should interrupt you while you're delivering your talk, if you didn't say you're okay with that. And by the way, I'm totally okay with you interrupting with questions because I have ADHD. I know that I will forgive totally my questions if I don't give them at that moment. I see there are some chat. Is there any questions? No, no question. Okay. So another thing you can do is breathe. We all know how to breathe. It's easy, but what we do is a very superficial breathing. What you can do is going deeper than that and using either the box breathing. I don't know if you know about it. It's when you inspire on 4 and then you block your respiration for 4, then you expire on 4, and then you block on 4. And you do that 3 or 5 times. It's a very good tool to release stress. Also, to do that, I use 2 tools on my Android phone, but you can find them on iPhone too. The first application is called Breathe, simply. The second is called Insight Timer. Insight Timer is more a timer that will give you just small notes to say that it's 1 minute, 3 minutes, 1 minute, something like that. I use that for meditation. I do 1 minute of regular breathing, then 3 minutes of boxing breathing, and then 1 minute of regular breathing, and it works. Another thing you can do, and there's no way you can stress by doing it, is you take your pulse and you count your pulse. Of course, here it's not very discreet. What you can do is just like this and put your thumb here so that you can feel your pulse. This is very discreet. This is a gesture you can do whenever you want. And also something I do before any talk. Normally in the morning, I go running. When you experience stress, actually your body wants to flee, and fleeing is running for an animal. So when I, before talk, at 6 or 7 a.m. before the talk, I go running. I can go in the gym at the hotel. I try to pick hotels with gyms for that purpose. And it does not need to be a very, very long run. 30 minutes is way enough. But you will see that you're way more comfortable afterwards because you were able to release your stress. If you can't run, you can walk. It works too. Whatever, and some people do yoga, whatever makes you feel comfortable. Also, remember to drink water before you talk, during your talk, and after your talk. That's very important because that's something we all we forget a lot, but that's really important for your well-being. Clothes, that's important. So I'm French, so clothes are obviously very important. But the first thing I like to say is try to wear something comfortable, something you really love. Nothing is too much. Nothing is not enough because it's you. I spend a lot of money in my clothes, too much, but I'm constantly shopping for what I call new stage outfits. I love wearing different outfits on stage. I try to have some jokes in them and things like that dress that I printed, I custom printed with Postgres code, or that Princess Leia outfit I wear last Friday at Disneyland. So try to be creative, but what's more important is be you. So I have a friend, she's very comfortable with wearing black t-shirts and black jeans. So she's always wearing black t-shirt and black jeans on stage. That's her. So it's perfectly appropriate. Also, what I do for stress is I try to have an anchor, something that keeps me on the ground, something that helps me reduce stress. It can be a smell like perfume, but it can be a specific jewelry piece or a specific T-shirt or whatever. It helps. But sometimes you don't need it. I remember that my first stage experience was at FOSDEM, so there were 200 people in the room, and it was live streamed on YouTube. I decided to do that because I said that if I could do that, I could do anything. But you can begin with a small meetup. You can begin even in front of your parents or in front of one colleague. It's okay. You can go step by step. Some important details about clothes. If you decide to wear a dress without a belt, it can be a problem for some lavalier microphone because you won't have anywhere to put them. But when there are some lavalier microphones, they always have hand microphones. So if you don't want a lavalier microphone, just say it. It's allowed. You have the right to say no whenever you're not comfortable with the situation. It's okay. You are the star on stage. So be happy, play a diva if you need to. But if you're not comfortable with something, say it. You shouldn't be stressed by technical details. Like the tech guy wanted to touch you to get the lavalier microphone under your shirt. Maybe you're not comfortable with that. Say it. Say it, I will do it myself. Or I don't want a lavalier microphone. Do you have a hand microphone? I will do it another way because I'm not comfortable with that. So I know it's difficult because we are not taught how to say no, but we can say no, and no one will be against you if you do so. Then before stage. So this is the 30 difficult minutes before going on stage. I say 30, for some people it's 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever. For me, it's really the last 30 minutes. I don't eat or drink for the last, well, before my talk, I don't eat or drink because I know that my body is not comfortable with that. Digestion is a problem for my body, so I don't want to have any trouble on stage, so I don't do that. But do whatever you're comfortable with. Maybe you will be comfortable with having some sugar in your blood. So there are always candies in ConfTalks events. I don't know why, but it's a good thing. There are chocolate bars. There are also coffee, tea, whatever you need. Just ask for it. People are there for you. You're the star. Remember that. Also, the 30 minutes before my talk, I don't like people coming to speak with me because that's not the right moment. I'd rather listen to music just to try to think of something else and being in my small bubble. Everyone is different. Find what works for you, but you don't have to excuse yourself because you're just being you. And it's a very stressful situation. Everyone knows that. So don't be afraid to be you and to do what you have to do to be the less comfortable you can be. Because yes, the 30 minutes before being on stage are not the more comfortable one. I think that it's like when you are parachute jumping, you're on the plane, but you haven't jumped yet. I think that's the same kind of feeling. Then you're on stage. So each time I tell myself, okay, I will drink some water at that slide, and I won't move too much because there's a camera and they try to video record my talk, and each time I forget. It's okay. Don't put too much pressure on you. You're already doing a great job, so do whatever you have to do. Be you again. And the most important thing is enjoy. It's so great to be on stage. It's so good to have so many people listening to you, or so few people. I once delivered a talk in Krakow in front of 2 people. So I took a plane for 1 hour. It was something like 1,000 kilometers away, and to all that for 2 people. I still delivered the talk for the 2 people because that's normal. I was there to deliver a talk, whatever the number of people. And you will see that when it's 800 people or 20 people, you don't see the difference. Your brain can't see the difference. Actually, you just see the front row and you won't go farther than that. If you find someone that is very receptive to your talk, nodding and so on, you can focus on that person. It's okay. And actually, they'll be very happy with that. So don't be afraid to do things like that. If you see someone reacting to what you're saying, you can focus on them. It's easier. And yeah, as I said, when it's 50 people, 200, 800, it's the exact same. You won't be able to see everyone. Maybe it will be a little intimidating if you know that it's live streamed or that it's video recorded and that there will be a record available on the internet, meaning for until the end of time. Actually, that's a good thing because it means that you will be able to watch yourself to get better. I know it's an experience, a difficult experience to watch yourself talking, but it's a good way of improving yourself, the best way to improve yourself, to see yourself as another character on stage. So if there is a video record of your talk, please watch it to become better. And remember, being on stage is fun. So have fun, make joke. One problem some people have is their hands. They don't know where to put their hands. If you have a hand microphone, use it, and the problem is reduced to only one hand. I'm from France, but I talk a lot with my hands, so I move them all the time, and it helps my communication. So that's not a problem. But you have pockets; you can put your hands in your pockets. You can move your hands, move your arms, and so on. Try to embrace the crowd, and so on. So don't be static, and move the most you can because you are dynamic, you're on stage. It's not a fixed image they are looking for. After stage. So after stage, you will have what we experiment as a noradrenaline lower level in your blood.
Yeah.
It's great. Enjoy. It's free. It's legal. Enjoy that. It's actually it's the same thing that you can enjoy after. So as I said, I run, but I don't simply run. I run with zombies. So it's just an application that triggers zombies chase when I'm running, but it's very realistic. And in my headset, I have zombies chasing after me. When I evade the zombies, it's the same rush of noradrenaline. It's really great. So enjoy it. It's the best feeling in the world. Also, for the 30 minutes after stage, please don't talk to me because I'm enjoying my rush of noradrenaline. And I can eat and drink. So this is where you will see me in the candy jar. I love candies, and that's when I will get mine. Again, it's because I know my body. I know that it will be comfortable afterwards with the candies, and it won't be before. And also, there's no problem if my body is not comfortable after, because the talk is already delivered. You might have a lot of people wanting to talk to you after the talk. If it's okay for you, okay, just answer the questions. If it's not, you can simply say, I'm sorry, I need 30 minutes. Can you come talk to me in 30 minutes? Or can you send me an email? Or can you contact me on Twitter? Whatever. It's totally okay. Again, you are the star. Do whatever you want. You've done something that less than 1% of the audience would be capable of doing. So you can rule. Is there any other question? Oh yeah, Zombies Run. It's an application on Android and iPhone to run with zombies. Slides. So make it fun. Actually, I have fun writing my slides. As you see, the tool I'm using for my slides is called reveal.js. It's JavaScript, HTML, and CSS framework to create slides. My slides are written in HTML. So you can also write them in Markdown, but I'd rather write them directly in HTML. And I love finding background images for my slides. It's sometimes I love my by myself when I'm in and it's funny when I'm in an airport waiting for my plane to writing my slides, because that's something you need to know, that when you are an experienced speaker, you're always finishing your slides 2 minutes before going on stage. And there is no exception. I was finishing my slides when Gulshin told me that we were about to begin. It's okay, but whatever you do, have fun. And if you can make the audience laugh, then make them laugh. They will be more with you if they laugh. And one way of very simply make them laugh is just when you present yourself, you can give a small anecdote about you. For example, I can say, I'm a PostgreSQL contributor. Fun fact, before entering the PostgreSQL community, I didn't like beer. And now I'm the first one to order beers, thanks to the PostgreSQL community. Or you can, I'm sure you have a lot of production horror stories you've seen, like when I was very young, one of my first jobs, I cut TV to 100,000 people in France. And yes, that was my first problem in production. And that's some kind of thing that you can say to make people understand you better and connect with you and make them love with you. Of course, you have to be comfortable with what you share. You don't have to share something you're not comfortable with. And just one thing, I know my slides are very, very clean and very clear with not a lot of things on it, but there are some things you need to remember. Keep it simple. Really try to have your slides the simplest you can. And you shouldn't have to say more than 3 to 4 things per slide, because human brain won't process more than that. I don't know if you have children, but have you tried to give them more than 3 direct orders at the same time? Even 2, sometimes it's too much. So, and don't get real. Adults are judge children that got older. So it's the exact same thing. They won't remember more than 3 to 4 things. So for each slide, try to be concise and no more than 3 to 4 things. With the habit, you will know how many slides you need. I know that I'm a quick speaker, so I need a lot of slides. If I want, I know I can do 40 slides for 45 minutes talk, but I know also that I can do 20 slides for 45 minutes talk, depending on where I am, what I'm doing, and so on. It's normally I think the average rate is 2 to 3 minutes per slide. So you can use that and then you can rehearse. I know that if I rehearse, when I will deliver the talk, it will be bad. Why? Because my brain will be like, okay, I already did that. I will rush through the next thing. And I will rush that much that I will have delivered the talk in 5 minutes. So I know that I need not to rehearse, but some people need to rehearse a lot. It really depends on how you work. So you will have to find out. And again, as I said, I prefer creating 2 slide decks, and I already explained why. I think it's a good thing to my audience. And also because if I was sharing those slides, there would be no value. I want my slides, if I share them, I want them to have some value for the people following them. So to conclude, be you. That's the most important. Be you. Have fun, because being on stage is fun. And the third one is show what you can do, because it will help you with your career. That's not the main goal. The main goal is to enjoy the moment, to enjoy being on stage. But remember, you are women in tech. You will have somehow to prove more than men to be taken into account. Delivering conf talks is a great and I think easy way to achieve that goal. I'm sorry that we are not in an equal world, and I'm not sure I will see an equal world one day, but let's say it's still better than 30 years ago. And I also, that's an advice I gave to one of my students. Also, yeah, I forgot to say I'm also a teacher at the University of Lyon for databases. And one of my students wanted to deliver a talk. I said, great, I can help. And then she said she wanted to deliver a diversity talk. I said, you're an IT student, not a sociology student. So do you think you're legitimate to talk about diversity in IT? I think that that's the first thing. And the second thing I'd like to say is you are expected to give the diversity talk, but without any knowledge of sociology. That's not your main area of expertise. Your expertise is IT. Talk about your expertise. Talk about what you do. I delivered, so last year I delivered more than 30 talks. This year I will be between 25 and 30. Last year I delivered 0 diversity talk. This year I will deliver 1. I want people to know me for my tech skills, not because I do the diversity talk in an IT event. Actually, I'd love white men to do the diversity talks because they are not more qualified than me to do that. They can be deconstructed. They can learn about gender bias. They can learn about sexism, racism, and so on. Let them do that kind of talks, because I think that's appropriate, actually. And maybe other white men will more listen to them than they would listen to a woman or a Black man giving that talk. But yeah, if you're young, the most important thing is to show what you can do. So show your tech skills. So show what you can do. Show what you learned. Show your path, your life. But talking about diversity as a first talk, I think it's not a good thing. But you do you. If you think that's an appropriate thing for you, if you think that you're more comfortable doing that, do that. It's just that I decided not to do that. I'm very happy with my choice. But if that's not yours, again, you. So do you, and that's the most important thing. And now, if you have any questions, I'm available for you.
Okay, so I see Aisha's hand raised.
Yeah. If no one has questions, I have a couple of questions, to be honest.
Yes.
Okay. My first question is about your ADHD, and like I know how hard to focus on ADHD at one thing at a time. How do you have any tips for like focusing on, especially I'm asking this to you because you're such a successful person and leader in your area, and it is, I think it's really, really hard for a person who have ADHD, like focusing on one thing and one thing only all the time, and like developing yourself without like distributing more than one thing. That's why I'm asking.
So,
That's my...
who said you have to focus on only one thing? People without ADHD. For example, this morning I was supposed to write this talk. So I bought an advent calendar for my daughter. I did some accounting for PostgreSQL Europe, and then I chatted with some friends, and then I went on Twitter, and then I was on Blue Sky, and then I had jumped into a meeting with a colleague, and between all those things, I had a span of attention for 1 and 2 minutes. And each time I wrote a slide. What I have with ADHD is that people don't have. I can do context switch. And that's how I try to cultivate my availability for any of my colleagues and know that they can come to me with whatever question on Slack. I will answer immediately because actually that's how I work. And it does not matter. You don't have to focus on only one thing to be very efficient. You can be very efficient by embracing how you are. And that's great. Not everyone works that way, but actually it's a great, I don't have that word in English. It's an advantage. It's a great advantage. That's how I think. Yes, I will have meetings where I won't be able to focus. Now you have AI that will ping you when they say your name and will also sum up what was said just before and sum up the questions so you can remember. So that's fine. And as I say, my brain is unable to focus on only one thing. My brain reads 3 to 4 things. There are things you can do if you really want to hard focus on one thing. You can use some alpha waves sounds. You will find them on Spotify or other music providers. What I do is, at the moment, I'm deeply into pirate metal rock. So I listen to that metal rock, and at the same time I walk, and it helps because my brain is kind of busy with that, and I can still walk at the same time. It works with my little one who is also diagnosed with ADHD. So we have metal songs for when she has to do her homework. And music is very, very efficient. Also, I know that I can deeply focus on things when it matters because I was a national chess player. So I know I can focus for 6 to 8 hours on the next chess play. So I know it's just that, no, that's boring. Doing expense, come on. I'm better than that. But you still have to do it. So you will bring some chocolate, some whiskey, and you will take 1 to 2 hours to do your expenses.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense to me. But yeah, My other question is about, it's not for me, but for me somehow, like it's for people who have gonna deliver their first talk. Like, what would you suggest to that people, how to prepare themselves for the first technical talk, or how to present, or I don't know, how to propose it, maybe even how to select the conference? Because I'm asking because like there's nothing, most probably, especially for the beginners, there's nothing that people doesn't know already that they can deliver.
No, they have, because each one has a unique point of view. So there are always topics you can talk about, even though you're repeating some things people say, it's your unique point of view. So yes, you can give a talk on something that people already know. It's okay, because we want to hear your unique point of view.
Another question, how
and
to select...
also I just want to the selection of the events. So first, as a woman, I always check there is a code of conduct committee. That's really important, how we can contact this code of conduct committee. I read the code of conduct, things like that. That's really important to me. Also, I have a network, so I ask for feedback from my network, because sometimes they do have a code of conduct, but you see that it's not that good. So feel free to use your network and don't be afraid to try. You can try, you can make mistakes, it's okay. And we are also, you will have to write a title and an abstract. We have ChatGPT, use it. I do that. ChatGPT is way better than me to write an abstract. So I write my abstract, give it to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT give me a way better version than mine.
Yeah, those were my questions. Thank you.
Okay, so are there any other questions that we didn't see? Maybe then I can share a few of the things that my feedback on your points, Lætitia. If you don't
that's one question no one asked, and I'd like to ask it. No one asked about children. I do have children. I'm a mom. I have two daughters, 8 and 14. And I do travel a lot for my work. And I used to be married, but I'm getting divorced now. So my trick is simple. When you do children, normally you're two. So everyone has to do their share. So before, when I was married, my husband was taking care of the children when I was abroad. And now it's 1 week out of 2. And it works, it simply works.
That is admirable. Having one and dealing with 2 people is still not able to manage very well. So I admire
and also remember, if you're asking yourself if you're a good parent, you are a good parent. It's as simple as that.
Always
the bad parents don't ask themselves if they're good parents.
Okay, Buse has a question. I see a raised hand. Go ahead, Buse.
Hello. First of all, thanks for the communication and thanks for this meetup, or I don't know how to say. My question is, you said you're a mother, so you must be busy a lot. What are your suggestions about time management? Because I'm so bad at it. I can't do anything at the time, so I want to listen.
Okay, so first I work from home, so it means that when I have some meetings where my brain does not need to be there 100%, like marketing or sales meeting, I can fold my laundry. I love folding my laundry during meetings. Also, there is I remember one meeting where I was cooking crepes and so on. It's not because you have a meeting that you can't do anything. That's the first thing. Second, it's okay if it's a little messy in your house. It's fine. Don't worry about it. No one will judge you. Well, if they do, fuck them. It's your house. You do whatever you want. You're an adult.
Yeah.
You're right.
One wise woman once told me, like when I was just new mom and was really miserable. I didn't take it very easily. This part is still so hard for me. And she told me, you can't make everything perfect. So you have to just to do important things. Like if kid is crying, you have to take care of the kid and let's go to the house. And if you have to work meeting, you have to do the meeting, let the kid cry. Like, so you have to balance basically the most important one thing, and you will never do everything as you were doing before because you have another person in your life or two. So nothing will be the same as before. And it's a hard thing to accept if you're a perfectionist. If you have like to things being like under control, it brings a lot of randomity to your life, and you have to adjust and like, yeah, not
And
easy.
also, when you have one child, you find out you had so much free time before and you didn't know. When you have a second child, you find out you had so much free time before and you didn't know. So I'm enjoying all the free time I have because I don't have a third child.
Okay, I feel like here now.
And
So,
also, I was told, aren't you guilty traveling when your daughters are? I got back to work when my little one was 3 months old. Same thing with the oldest one, and it's fine. It's totally fine because what my daughters needed is a mom with a good mental health. And my work is a really, really important part of my job. So that I need to travel the world. I need to do my work to be happy. And my daughters need me more happy than they're with them.
yeah, that's great tip as well. Like overcoming the guilt of
Yeah.
becoming a
And 1
parent.
minute. Valentine, tu peux rentrer? Because, yeah, the little one is there. Bah, ouvre la porte.
She has two
Viens.
adorable daughters. It's like
She
really
she
cute.
knows it. She will use her cuteness against you.
I think the background is blurry. Ah, okay, now we see her. Hi, Valentine.
Regarde, Valentine, c'est Gulshin. Dis coucou. Hi.
Hi. She grows so much already.
Yeah.
And we will not
Bianca
give
là?
away the dinner preparation for long.
Oh,
It was
no,
just
no, no.
like, keep it short.
She already ate dinner or didn't eat dinner because she didn't like it. But
Okay.
no, it's fine. She just wanted a hug. Tu vas prendre ta douche et tu te mets en pyjama. Allez, c'est l'heure.
Okay, so any other questions to Lætitia? I'm really sorry, I really can't pronounce her name at all. I'm awful French for that. For many years, I'm like, I'm not registered, and I have a very hard name for everybody to say, and she says it pretty well. So like, double guilty. And if there's no questions, I also take some notes to maybe go through it and like maybe just give my perspective where there are different things. For example, when you said like recording talk is like another added stress level, and I tend to agree, but I didn't first notice when they were recording. It didn't change me from delivering the talk, but then I watched the talk. It was awful, like seeing yourself and like you have a different view of things when you're doing the talk, but then you watch it, it's not how you imagined. Like, it's like
Yeah.
kind of
Try
brings you. Yeah.
try to look at it as if a friend was delivering the talk, not you.
Yeah, no, that will be maybe I will do research to myself then.
Mm.
Also, when like the teacher said that like it's the same giving talk to 2 people versus like 800 people. I gave keynote talks and or the biggest like conference like stadium size places kind of big, and I don't think it was the same for me when they were like Oh, it is like how can I say, like possibly 80% is similar feeling, but that the rest of the 20%, when I remember first time seeing people like standing and like sitting in the corridors in the hostel rooms or something, I felt really like, you know, intimidated. It was like so hard, so like why people are standing, why are they bothering to listen even? So it really added to me more when I see this like so many people. But again, after that you feel so great, like you delivered a talk to, I don't know, more than like 300-400 people, and you feel like, okay, I can deliver it everywhere. But I totally agree that it never get less of me. Like I never get like, okay, I got it, so I will not have any stress before. I always have anxiety before, and few times I imagined that I will be just so sick that I will have to cancel it. I have to just like fight these feelings of, as you said, flight, and just be there, and then it went well usually. And there is one thing I took note from you that I didn't know, that like less than 1% of the audience can ever deliver a talk. And
Yeah.
I think it is really like encouraging, like, because I didn't give talks for a very long time now, and I feel like just hearing it, thinking it, like helped me that, okay, we are all here, so we are already preparing for something that we intend to do. So it means that it gives us already a big advantage, and we are one of the few people we can achieve it. So it really motivated me, that percentage, honestly.
And do you know you're the one who inspired me?
Uh, you told me once, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, I always feel shy when I hear it.
So I was at FOSDEM, and I was just sitting near Louise Grandjean, who's another woman in the Postgres community, and we were discussing the fact that there was only one speaker in 2 days of Postgres talk. And she said to me, that's why I will deliver my first talk in English in Italy in front of 300 people. I was like, wow, she's so brave. And I said, wait a minute, I can be brave too. And that's how I began delivering talks.
Oh, that's so nice.
But because
I'm
you were
happy.
on stage.
Yeah, thanks. I feel I am happy that it had an impact on you, and we got a like perfect speaker in Postgres community and other dev communities. So I'm happy that happened. But it was a really stressful talk, but it went really well, that talk. I got so many good reviews after that. So.
It was a talk where you got kidnapped by Slonik
Yeah,
at the end.
yeah, exactly. And I watched that recording afterwards, so that was a little hard to watch as well. Like I'm like squeaking with it. Yeah, sometimes. Good that we made it. I also, what I liked, like you said, like last minute prepping. I always add or remove stuff last minute. I always do that. But I noticed that I need to have like almost everything ready and just reorder maybe, or add few speaker notes. I can't really write anymore. At the beginning of like, and I was much younger, like when I was 20, basically for me, it was much younger. And then I was actually writing everything at last minute because, you know, you have long party days, go out, you were just freshly out of university or in university. So you really don't care as much maybe, or you're very stressed that you keep it. But now I have to, because I can't risk it. Like, you know, baby can get sick. Something can happen to it. Like, you know, so you have to maybe be more prepared, which makes you less brave in a way. It kind of takes a little bit of fun from your prep, but I try to do it a bit earlier now than last minute. But I still do some changes, and I think it's normal, and maybe everybody does that. I also like that, like slide, because everybody asks how many slides should be, because we had this sessions a few times already, and people wants to know. And I like that you give this 2 to 3 minutes per slide for average. But I'm also like you, as possibly people realized, I talk so fast, even though I always remind myself, calm down, slow down. I know that on stage I will be talking maybe faster than this. So I have lots of pages too, but I don't press anymore more than 40. That is my mental limit for myself. I don't put more than 40. Ideally 30 is my limit, but it can go to 40 if I have so many pictures and stuff. So everybody, I think, will get to their own, like how many pages that fits for them, and it comes with rehearsal. But then again, you said that when you rehearse, you don't anymore, you know, feel like you already did it, so you'll just do it quickly. That happened to me once when I rehearsed so many times. I rehearsed so much that when I was on the stage, it felt, no, I already told this joke. I already did this before. My mind was like kind of mocking me, like, oh, you already know this. You already said that. I felt like, oh, I'm just like repeating this like game that I played 100 times and it doesn't have the, you know, all the fun anymore. But then if I don't rehearse at all, then I'm like, oh, on the spot, and it's like doesn't work either. So everybody again has to find their own balance, like what works, what doesn't work in the even rehearse, not the rehearse. But again, I think this is all means that you will have to do like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 talks, more talks, then you eventually get to a point. So it's actually a positive thing because nobody starts perfect. Every time you have to take something with you, like, okay, I really didn't manage this, or I was really good at that, but I'm really terrible at this. So like there are so many things that goes through the preparation, and I think it's really personal, as Lætitia was saying, like it will be personal. And yeah, I also like preparing for images first. I find the images and then write the text later. So I felt very like similar in this, and I really enjoyed your site in general. So good to know. And yeah, I see Aisha is raising a hand.
Yes, I was raising because since both of you mentioned that you don't rehearse much, you add last minute like things like slides. I wanted to mention that I'm different. I'm totally different. I want to be ready like before 2 to 3 days at least. And I want to do the rehearsal many times, like to memorize everything, to not forget everything, because when you have anxiety like mine, you may forget your name. Once I forgot my PIN code of my phone. So that's how it is.
It happens to me all the time with my
Me too.
credit card, my PIN code
Yeah,
on my
I
credit card.
forget my bank like login like all the time. So like if I don't use it 3 to 4 days, I always like think about it. Yeah, I think it's I forget so many things during the talks too, by the way.
Yeah,
I feel like
it's
totally
about,
blank.
for me, it's about anxiety. If there's enough pressure, I would forget, like wipe out everything.
So I will show you the other part of my slide deck that you don't see. It's my speaker notes. So well, here, so here it's not interesting, but you see I have my bullet points here so that I don't forget anything. I have a timer. I have the time, actual time. So that's time in French. But if I had traveled, it would have adjusted to the correct time zone. I have the current slide and the next slide. So I have access to everything so that I don't forget anything.
Yeah, I think speaker notes, I use, by the way, some product that's using Reveal.js, slides.com.
Yeah.
I don't know the one. And once I discovered there is like the speaker notes are such flexibility and you can download them. And it really made me so much relaxed to like having a speaker note somewhere. And just like can just see it's differently than other people. You just present the other one, and yeah, I think it will definitely help with many people. Just like I know some people like you say, like you memorize like word by word, and I think it also comes from like, let's say if you were doing this in Turkish, I don't know if you will do that because you are naturally able to chain things together, and you just can bring examples quite easily because you are naturally talking this language since you were born.
You would
No?
you would surprise. No,
In Turkish
no.
too? Okay. But just for me, I realized it added a lot of stress when I did my first talk in English. And there I had to really think about the sentence order even, you know. But in Turkish, I can just kind of freestyle, free flow things I can do. And maybe that's why, like my experience, the different language. At the moment, I feel more comfortable delivering in English. And I remember I really struggled with one conference to deliver in Turkish in Turkey. So it really changed which was my dominant language, I guess, to deliver talks. But yeah, maybe I was thinking that can be the reason, but that's not. And there are people, Sarah was saying that she also like has everything by the minute written. And when she was giving the talk, you wouldn't notice, like because she said that she's have everything ready and prepared that way, if I'm correctly remembering. But some people just can't remember, like, you know, pictures and notes. If I write everything, I really struggle with it. And I start reading it or, you know, forget what I have. And then it just becomes either too monotonous or I get more stressed that if I will able to cover everything. So I just write maybe one sentence to start going and then like few more dots under because when you explain a technical concept, it takes a lot of time, and then if you have to write all and then remember all, which my memory is so awful that I never deliver anyway, but I write like much more than I talk. So half of the content it's always lost, but nobody knows that except you. So that's what somebody told me that too. Like when I was saying, oh, I forgot this and that, they will say, that's the only person you know that how much you forget is you. Nobody knew that you passed like 2-3 sentences in your speaker notes, but you just delivered something coherent. That's what people notices, unless you totally forgot with everything, which never happens, I think.
I forgot to say one thing before you talk. Put your phone in plane mode or switch it off.
Yeah.
And that too. And on your computer, make sure you won't get Slack notification on WhatsApp or Telegram. So it can be embarrassing, and you don't want to be disturbed when you're delivering your talk. Also, it can happen that people get up and leave the room, or people enter the room. It's okay. It's not a problem. Maybe they have an emergency. Maybe they don't like your talk, and it's okay too. You're not there to please to anyone. So, as I said, I now deliver talks to developers where I'm pretty harsh, telling them that they don't know anything about the database and they should learn because it could make them way better at their jobs. Some people don't like it. It's fine. Actually, most of them like it. But it's okay to have people entering and leaving the room while you're delivering a talk. But again, I did some focusing trainings when I was a chess player, so maybe that's why it does not matter for me.
Yeah, those are good points. Like when people just leave, it's kind of heartbreaking. So
No,
you
don't know what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know. So why would you assume that they don't like your talk? Maybe they love it, but they have an emergency as well at work. It happens.
That's true. Yeah. Well, you get used to it, but first you observe every attendance. I mean, for me, like when I see that, well, you were mentioning that if you're seeing someone that is very engaged with you, just focus on that. And it's really good tip in my opinion, because there is always some nice person there who is rooting for you more than the others, and maybe everybody's rooting for you, but that person really makes you sure that that's listening, nodding, confirming, and be that person. I try to be that person for every talk I go because I know how it's important to well-being of the speakers. And just like also makes you engage because you kind of have a connection and you really want that person, you root for that person. So yeah, it's really important to find
And
something
sometimes,
positive.
Also, it happened to you, I think, Gülçin, when you were too small for
Yes.
the microphone.
Of course, I was in Russia and the stage, like the speaker stage was so high that people could only see my head. I'm like 165 centimeters or something. I don't know, at best 66. So like, they are taller people, they're taller race. Like, I went there and like had only this head, and of course all our friends make fun of it, and it was really funny. I've seen in the pictures that it all looks like portrait on the stage.
And
but it can happen. It can happen, yeah.
And also, microphones are not meant for women's voice.
No.
So sometimes you will have to really use your voice even though you have a microphone.
Yep. Also, microphones can be uncomfortable. For example, you said you can prefer the maybe hand microphone that you would like to walk. To me, if I walk, I only think of my steps. I can't really like walk and do something. Like some people, like for example, my brother has a call and walks around it when he has a call. And for me, I find it like it's so weird. And that's why I can't focus on people who walks too much. And because I have the way that thinking that I just want somebody to, stay a little bit stable. And that's why I cannot do with hand microphones. When I see only hand microphones, it's so terrible for me. And I really like this ones that attaches, to mouth, and that they have like this huge thing that attaches to your thing. And at one time, I also wear a dress without pocket or belt. As you said that, I was like, aha, that happened to me too. And where will they attach it? So I had to hold it in my hands, that thing. And then they just attached it to me. So I was like holding this thing and having this. It was awful. But yeah, because they tried to hold it to my like neck and that didn't hold, of course, and there was nothing to do. I still prefer that than having, for example, the hand microphone. That feels really helpless for me. I want to have click to my notes. I don't know, see the presentation myself, and it really triggers me if I just have to hold this. But yeah, knowing the technical spec of the room, talking to tech people before if you have time, because usually there are like gaps between the talks, even if it's just 5 minutes. Just be there as early as possible and check if they have everything ready for you, test it, because it's frustrating, you know, sometimes they say, there were even one conference, the one meetup, actually, not conference. I went there, they didn't even have a like laptop ready, or like that you can't really connect your laptop to anything. They just expect you to just like talk. And I was like, that's weird for me. I need to see something, and I really don't work like that. So it was complicated, but yeah, it worked.
I had in New York last year, once I connected the video projector to my laptop, the video projector stopped working.
Yeah.
So I had to deliver my talk without slides, and it was one on transaction isolation.
Yeah.
So luckily there was a whiteboard, so I drew transactions.
Oh my gosh.
Because
Oh.
yeah, you need to for that kind of
Yeah.
talk, you have
Yeah.
to. But
I
yeah,
use my phone as an access screen now. Let's say if there's no access screen opportunity that you can't really show. Let's say you can only show your own screen and slides that are there, because they don't provide double screens sometimes, right? So we can't really like push the slide and see something. I had that one, so I couldn't see the speaker notes. And sometimes I use my phone as a, I download everything in every place as a PDF or HTML or whatever. So I can have extra, because it can happen. Like you can, if there will be some technical issues, and that happens always. And also about demos, maybe we didn't talk about it, like doing live demo. I don't know if you prefer that, but I had my fair share of failed demos, so I don't do it anymore.
Be ready for the demo to fail.
Yeah, so I don't do it. I don't do it. I record it and I show it. That's my way of showing if they really want to see the process, you know. I doubt it that people really wants to see that, but some people wants to see it works, or like, you know, how it works, how easy it is and stuff. And so
Simply
I
show the
record
code.
it.
Simply show the code,
Yeah,
and they
it's
can
too
make
much.
it run themselves.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I do sometimes the demos when needed, but it's all recorded ahead, so I don't need to do it live. That's something maybe if people want this, because this is tech topic. You might need to show code, and how much code you need to show, because you can't even show all the code.
Demos is always a risk, always. In particular, if you need internet for your demo.
Yeah. Okay. Any other? Do you want to add anything, Lætitia, more?
No, I think we covered. There's one thing we didn't cover is how to pick a topic.
Yeah, for us, like maybe you share your things, because her talks are quite accepted. All like I think the ratio that you are getting accepted is much more than you get a rejected talk. So you know how to how to write a title.
This year I got one rejection. No, I was selected as a reserve speaker.
How do you suggest your students? That's what I was wondering, actually, to pick their first talk, maybe. Like, even when you get experience, it is harder because you meant to present something with your expertise level, and it's really hard to prepare something.
No, though your experience, you can give a very beginner talk and people will enjoy it. Was it this year? No, last year. I delivered a talk about how to connect to Postgres. That's a very beginner-friendly talk, and people loved it. It's not because you're experienced that you have to do high-level talks. That's the first thing. Second thing, how do I pick my topic? Simply, what do I love? What do I want to talk about? I'm passionate about Postgres, obviously. And also I try to put myself in the shoes of the audience. If I talk to developers, I won't deep dive into architect design because they don't care. I will dive into things they don't know, like SQL, like and with SQL, I have several talks. I have one simply on null, because null is that complicated that even with 45 minutes, you will only scratch the surface of null. I have quiz about advanced SQL that the developers don't know. I have a talk about how I solved more than half of the challenges of advent of code in SQL. I have a talk, I just wrote an abstract for a Parrot talk about what they don't know about Postgres, what they can do with Postgres and don't know they can do. For example, most developers have no idea they can use I-like, which is an case insensitive like. Most developers just ignore that that's part of standard SQL, and you can do that with Postgres. So simple things that people don't know, and the problem, they don't know, but they don't know they don't know, so they can't look for it.
Yeah, I think it's also hard to find catchy things so much, like, like names and stuff. But I see your, I think, last talk is about Barbie or something. So
Oh yeah, I have a
it's
Barbie
good.
talk.
Yeah, it's good to have, I think, some sort of references to the modern things or current things, not modern things, pop culture, maybe, like, being something that makes
That's
people.
new that I do that, but you did a
Yeah.
superhero talk, if I
Yes,
remember
exactly.
correctly.
It was a keynote, and I thought, well, these are a bunch of nerds, right? So they are probably liking the superheroes because I like it. I like comics, and I could connect to, I don't know, I think it's about the features of Postgres or extensions, so that I could just, connect these things to the heroes. And for a keynote, you really don't need to have, like, nobody wants to have a keynote to be deep dive into the most technical depths of topic. So I wanted something cheesy, easy, and like people enjoy it and remember and starts the conference as a happy mode. And for that, it was, I think, more reasonable and or like something that people can like and also reflects your personality again. Because if you are talking about something that's like it's not your character, out of your character, just to try to be somebody, it will be visible. So if you feel comfortable in what level of level of detail and what level of that you would go on to, then the title should reflect that as well as abstract. I had one application this year and I got rejected from that one, so my ratio is awful at the moment. But yeah, before it was like good, I guess. And I don't think it's only depending on the title. I think people just put too much on it, but it's mainly the abstract, I think, because abstract should tell what you will talk and people should see do they really want to hear it or not from you.
And
Also the
also
console.
don't write the talk before it's accepted, because it's a lot of work to write a talk. So just write the abstract and wait for it to be accepted.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think I mean, I only prepared one talk before because it was my master's thesis and I had it already ready, but yeah, I don't also prepare before it's accepted. Yeah, I think we covered a lot of ground today. It was really great session, Lætitia. I really appreciate your time and effort, and same with Aisha being here for me, supporting me. Today is not the best day for me to do this, but I'm happy. I feel much better than I joined. And like I believe in the women supporting each other and the energy that comes between. I don't know, it's like how to describe it in a scientific way, but yeah, I
It's
like that
called
we have each other.
sorority.
Yes, so exactly. That's that that we have, and I feel so much better than I just started to call. And thank you everyone for joining. And I think we will share the slides. I already shared the one that through the barcode. It's such a good trick.
Yeah.
And that's another trick. I shared it through the Kadın Yazılımcı account, and Aisha is recording, and she will share the recording with everybody who registered through the event. And we will be putting this to our YouTube as well. If you are watching from YouTube already, that's also good. Okay, so yeah, last words to close.
we talked about sorority. What I say always is I really deeply think sorority is needed and needs to be a very positive thing, because I can assure you that brotherhood does exist and it's not positive at all.
But we are here too. We are not going anywhere. Okay, then everybody, thank you. Bye-bye. Feel free to leave, and Ayşe will be the last closing it. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Ayşe, you can stop the recording now.